And welcome, Happy New Year, one and all. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't seen my channel and some of the videos, mostly just me personally not ranting, but like sometimes rants and sometimes just my opinion on general random stuff. It's nothing unrelated to what's currently going on in the current time frame of that moment in time as well too. And usually a lot of the cases will be rants as well too. I mean, I'll rant here and there as well for certain things. I mean, you see me if you saw some of my past videos. I was ranting on a little bit on Twitter, more often on Elon Musk, but also kind of defending him here and there as well too. Like like letting him leave him be because it's his company now. It's just a matter of his management style. That's all I was really ranting on, not him personally. Um, as well as other stuff like giant sports related stuff, everything basically at this point. Well, in this case, please subscribe to my channel. And I think if you haven't known, if I do get 1 million subscribers, I will do. You know what? I'm lowering it down now from 1 million subscribers to 100,000 subscribers. Well, actually, no. If I get a million subscribers, sorry, if I get a million subscribers, I will do. I will live stream myself doing a one of those popular dancing trends at that moment in time. Whether it be on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever it may be, live streaming it to you guys for a good hour at least. 10 million, I'll do it at any location based on a popular poll, basically live streaming. And if, like, example, someone says the White House and the Oval Office, I will do it basically, even if I get arrested. No, it's not true. Well, it all depends. I'll probably ask for permission and such. Anyways, if I do get 100,000 though subscribers, which I don't know what I'll do with that exactly. I might just live stream and answer any questions, any random ass questions that you ask, and no question will be, non-answered. I'll try to answer the best of my abilities. But anyways, to the subject at hand now. I'm a sort of happy camper. I think if you saw my videos in the early on in the beginning, talking about early on in the NFL season about the Giants and how they were winning, I thought like it was purely by fluke and here and there and such. Like Dable definitely deserves to get the Coach of the Year award. I mean, considering with the amount of talent that he had with the amount of talent that he had basically on the team essentially. I mean, Daniel Jones is by far nowhere near a pure starting quarterback. He's more of a backup quarterback. He's like a Geno Smith basically, where not your first string quarterback, more of a second string quarterback. But he revived Saquon Barkley and what he should be, what he was meant to be, basically a top tier running back, basically, which it proves otherwise. A defense that wasn't so great, but worked on a little bit, and such. To the point where like they made the playoffs. I didn't mention that if certain things fall into play, they will be able to make the playoffs. Will they be able to get far in the playoffs? I doubt it. But looking at the way it goes, depending on week 18, basically, it depends where the Vikings and the 49ers play, how they play. Uh, if I think the 49ers win, then the Giants will play the Vikings. Based on how they played the Vikings last time, I don't think, I don't. It doesn't bode well for the Giants. But at the same time, the way the Vikings played against the Packers, specifically the defense, the way the Packers defense stepped up, I think they showed that Cousins can, make serious mistakes. And if that's the case, I think the Giants have a shot maybe with the Vikings. But at the same time, if the Giants were to go against the 49ers, now granted the 49ers defense would be on pretty much hard to play against. The offense would have a hard time. But at the same time with Brock Purdy, the way he played against the Raiders last night, it proves otherwise that Purdy is vulnerable. He can he will make mistakes. He is a rookie quarterback. He is the Mr. Relevant draft pick. He was showing the Mr. Relevancy basically at that point. So I can see if the Giants were to play, if I had a choice as a Giants fan, I probably would want them to play against the 49ers versus the Vikings. Why? I think it's because of the fact that they have a better shot with Purdy basically as the QB. Trey Lance and Garoppolo are not coming back, so they have a better shot at attacking Purdy. And I think Dable can actually expose that. And like Dable has the ability to at the second half kind of shift uh, strategy a little bit to adapt to what's going on. And I think he can adapt in this situation with Purdy, basically. It's just a matter of adapting to the 49ers defense. It's a possibility there's going to be a couple of trick plays in here there. But that's assuming if the Giants play the 49ers. If they play the Vikings, I don't see the Giants beating the Vikings entirely. And they could keep it close in the first 2 to 3 quarters. But honestly, I don't see them beating the Vikings. But like I said, any given Sunday, any given playoff at this point. The Jets, well, I kind of said, if they did win it here and there, they should be able to make it. They had the shot last week. If they beat the Seahawks, they would be, they would still keep their playoff hopes alive. They didn't win, which, unfortunately, as a result, they're out. That was to be expected at that point. Now, what's really surprising is the Green Bay Packers. They're in it. They're in the hunt still, which is a real surprise. I honestly thought they were pretty much going to be out of it, but looks like things are starting to click and gel with them. Granted, yeah, when they're playing against the Panthers, that was to be expected. But the way they played the Vikings, I think, you know what? If the Packers were to make the playoffs, I think they should go against the Vikings because they have the Vikings numbers hands down. Similarly, if the Lions were able to make it, that would be a nice one too to see, basically, because you know what, if the Lions were to make it, I think they would be actually, I think the Lions are actually eliminated if I'm correct. Yeah, they're still in it. If the Lions were to get into the playoffs, they would be a dangerous team as well too, to be quite honest. Now the Buccaneers, I don't think they're that, I don't think they're that, a threat as compared to the Packers, and for sure the Lions. Outside of that, yeah. Who do I see coming out of the NFC? It's probably going to be either the Cowboys or the Eagles, depending on Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts is back by playoff time. If Hurts is not back, it's going to be a little tricky, but I can see, if Hurts is not back, then it's the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl at that point, honestly, because I don't see the Eagles getting past it. And if 49ers, Purdy's not your QB. He's no Tom Brady, put it that way. He is no Tom Brady. He probably needs another year or two to develop into something that's going to be a top tier quarterback or lower end top tier quarterback in that situation. But with that, I'm just happy that the Giants are in. Basically, they're it's been a while since the Giants have been in the playoffs. They can get in again. I mean, if they could do it, if they could build off of this and go from here, that'd be great. Now the question is what happens now with Daniel Jones? Do the Giants try to sign him, or do they go in the draft and maybe try to sign someone else? In the free agency market to be a stopgap until they find a quarterback in the draft. I think that's probably what they're going to do. They're probably going to pick a big Baker Mayfield or something like that. I mean, if they could get a Baker Mayfield in there, I think he might do well. Look what Dable did with Daniel Jones. If Mayfield, and seeing how he played over with the Rams, I think Mayfield will be perfect for the Giants, and under Dable's tutelage as well too. That's only if the Giants can afford him too. That's the other factor. I mean, Mayfield will definitely need some wide receivers, of course, too. But I think Mayfield can be decent enough to do well. But that's again, that's playing for the 2023-2024 season. See what happens there at that point. But it does prove that to the point of Zach Wilson, though. It's he's definitely a bust. It's so ironic that it reminds me of the Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf era, where Peyton Manning was your generational quarterback, and he did really well, all 4 years, all 4 or 5 years basically at Tennessee. And that, Indianapolis had to choose him at that point, where it was either between him or Ryan Leaf, where Ryan Leaf had one really good year, and that was it. And then do we take Ryan Leaf or do we take Peyton Manning? And it made sense to take Peyton Manning over Ryan Leaf. It's the same thing here. What happened in last year's draft, basically, where the Jacksonville Jaguars had a choice between Trevor Lawrence, which it seemed like he was a generational quarterback, or Zach Wilson, where he had one really good year. And it proved otherwise that basically, Jacksonville made the right choice. They made the right decision, choosing Trevor Lawrence because he's showing his true skill sets. Whereas Zach Wilson, not so great, to be quite honest. I mean, it seems like he's more of a case where like he was just that one-time person. He's almost like a Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf. He's going to be probably a little of Ryan Leaf again, basically, where he'll just be gone out of the league in about a year or two from now, honestly, because that are a decent backup QB for that matter. I don't know. We'll see. But Zach Wilson is no Trevor Lawrence. And this is why I'm still angry that the Giants did not actually try to tank that season for the Trevor Lawrence draft. Because that's what it was. It was the Trevor Lawrence draft. That's pretty much what it came down to. And I think Jacksonville having Trevor Lawrence, they have someone to build around now, basically. All they have to do is now build a serious back-end offensive line and get your superstar wide receiver. And Jacksonville's going for you're going to hear Jacksonville for the next 10 years, basically, to be quite honest. But yeah. But again, let's see what happens with the Giants come playoff time. Let's see who they're, after week 18, let's see who they play against. If it is the 49ers, my preference to that over the Vikings. But then again, who knows? I mean, it still comes down to the Eagles versus the Cowboys. If the Cowboys win and the Eagles lose, the Eagles claim their division, while the Eagles are then delegated down to being a walk-off team. But that's assuming if Jalen Hurts doesn't play. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It's a matter of like teams being hot at that right moment in time, basically. Like we saw with the 2007 Giants and 2011 Giants. They weren't that great, but they got hot when they needed to be hot, and they were running on all cylinders at that point in time, and that's when they did it, basically. And that's all. If they can do that again, that'd be great. I don't want it to be. Hopefully, it's not a repeat of the 2000 Giants, where like they were hot until they got into the Super Bowl when they played a mighty defense, and like they died. But in any case, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think of it. What your thoughts are with the Giants. Do you think will they have a better shot? Will they pass the first wild card round, or do you think they just got them by pure luck and whatnot, basically? Or does Dable deserve Coach of the Year? And if you think Dable got really good quarterback outside of Daniel Jones, let's say he got like a Baker Mayfield or even a Sam Darnold. Do you think, they would have gotten much farther at that point, and maybe a decent wide receiving core as well, too? But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.